out tonight. Excited to have you all here. I am Shane Murray. I am co-owner and co-founder of Sensory Speed. And tonight we have a great presentation for you on how your brain can transform your performance. Alright, so Dr. Brad Murray will be presenting here in a few minutes. Before we get started, I just want to give you a little information about Sensory Speed and what we're going to be covering today. Okay? So first, we're going to go over the science of vision and brain training. Okay, and then we're going to get into what neurovisual training is and how it can improve multiple areas of performance. All right, including sports performance, concussion prevention and treatment, as well as learning and attention. Okay, and then we'll finish up with how teams and individual athletes can implement a training program of their own. So, Sensory Speed, we do sports vision and performance training. Okay, we are looking to train the athlete totally and completely. Okay, not just what you get out there with physical training, but we take it a step further with training your eyes and your brain to help you see, decide, and react faster. Okay, and that will help you in sports, but also in school, because your eyes and your brain guide you in both areas. Okay, so Dr. Murray will get into it a little bit further, but our goal is to improve the student athlete on the field and in the classroom. So a little background of Sensory Speed. Dr. Murray is a leading sports neurodevelopmental optometrist, and he's been practicing vision therapy for over 30 years. Myself, I have been a personal trainer for many years, so we brought together what we do and combined into one program. All right, so a little background of Dr. Murray. He is a pioneer in sports vision training. He started back in the 1980s when sports vision was just getting going. Okay, and now today he is one of the very few sports neurodevelopmental optometrists in the nation. Okay, he is also a part of the prestigious A-Team now. That is an elite group of doctors, optometrists, and trainers that lead the way in sports vision development. Okay, so he's very proud to be a part of that group. And then over the 30 years of his career, he's helped thousands of students, athletes, and just regular people improve their lives through vision. Okay, whether they're trying to improve for sports or for school or just for work to get by, be able to drive correctly. Okay. My background, like I said, I've been a personal trainer for 7 years actually, and I did vision therapy myself growing up. So I had a learning disability and was very uncoordinated when I was younger. Doing the vision training, it changed my life in both areas. It made school much easier for me, and in sports, when I was younger, I couldn't do a jumping jack, sadly. Okay? I didn't have the coordination to do that. After training, it made me a much better athlete. I was pretty good, ended up playing college football for a few years until I had injuries, but it changed my life, and I wanted to bring that to other athletes to experience it as well. Okay? And I've been a vision trainer now for the last 5 years, studying under Dr. Murray, and I'm also a member of the A-Team now. So our mission at Sensory Speed is providing student and professional athletes of all levels the opportunity to improve their sensory visual skills and physical fitness for increased success in sports and school. And the way we do that is based on this performance loop here. Okay, you can see it starts with vision, then goes to perception, cognition, and action. This is the process in which pretty much every play in every sport takes place right here. It starts with your vision, okay, and we train that. There's different skills that Dr. Murray will get into to enhance your vision to help you see your sport better. Now, once you do that, now goes to the perception, okay? You need to update your mental picture, okay, and anticipate what's going to happen next. Then it comes to your brain, okay? Your cognition, you evaluate what's going on and you make your decision. The best athletes make the best decisions in the least amount of time. So it's crucial, especially the higher you go up in sport. Okay? Now once you do decide, now we want that movement to be as strong, accurate, explosive, quick as possible. Okay? So when we improve the vision, the perception, cognition, and the action, the movement system, it will improve your performance. Okay? Here, we've worked with hundreds of athletes, Dr. Murray, thousands of athletes, and here are a few of the teams that we've worked with. Dr. Murray actually started his team training back in the 80s with Santa Clara University's baseball team. And with them, he got his foot in the door by giving them free training. Okay, back then, nobody knew what sports vision training was. Now, I mean, today, lots of people still don't know what it is, and we're going to teach you today. But back then, he had to get his foot in the door somehow. Okay, and he did training with them for multiple years. They ended up having their best record in school history one year. They went to the NCAA regionals, and they were one game away from making it to the College World Series. That was their best finish ever, still to this day. The only reason he stopped training their team was because he had a family to support and couldn't continue doing free training. Okay. Now fast forward, 2013, Century Speed was formed, and we started working with San Jose State softball team. Okay. In their first season, they had their best record in school history and won their conference. The second season, they improved their offensive statistics greatly. I know it's kind of hard to see on the screen here, but if you see the bars going up, that's a good thing. Okay. And then the third season, they skyrocketed. They hit 350 as a team last season. They've broken every offensive school record with the training that we've been given. Obviously, they have great coaching too, and Coach Hardy is here, assistant coach for San Jose State softball. Thank you for coming. And she is a big part of how we got incorporated with San Jose State. The reason they were so successful is because their coaches, same with Santa Clara, made it mandatory for their players to do it. Okay? If it's optional, you're not going to get the results you want. You got to make sure the whole team's doing it to get significant changes. Okay? Now, we do individual training. That's the bulk of our training. Some of you here have been a part of our program. But here are just a few individual success stories. Kyle Kaiser, he's a professional race car driver in the Indy Light Series. I've been training him for multiple years, and he just keeps moving up the ranks there. Jordan Parabek, baseball player, I trained him through high school. He ended up getting drafted in the second round for Major League Baseball right out of high school. He gives a lot of credit to us for helping him improve his game there. And then Zach Silva, he is a football player. He's actually a trainer for us now. I trained him for like 5 years or something like that. And so he's playing college football and then also works for Century Speed now. So here, this is some work that we've done with the A-team. Dr. Murray here, you can see him working with the men's USA volleyball team. And then I also got to go and do testing and some training with Victor Cruz, the professional wide receiver for the New York Giants. So I'm going to let Dr. Murray come on now and take the show. So here you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Shane. This picture right here takes me back about 30 years when I was about Shane's age. Just a little bit older than Shane. Back in 1982, 83, 84, I was introduced to Sports Vision. I visited a Dr. Robert Sanet and Carl Hillier in San Diego, and they happened to be working with the USA men's volleyball team. First time ever anybody had worked with their vision, and I was turned on for Sports Vision from that point on. Just so happens that team back in 1984 was the first gold medal in USA history for the Olympic volleyball team. And this particular team that we started working with this year, a good friend of mine down there has been working with, they just won the World Cup for the first time in 30 plus years. The last time they won it, guess what? It was when we were working with their visual system. So they've gone full circle, and now they're on to Rio. And I don't know if it's the vision or if it's me, so I'm asking them to take me to Rio. Okay? But the bottom line is, the A-team allows us to get into doors with the elite athletes, and there's only a few elite athletes. Our main focus is student athletes. 99% of you are not going to make the pros. I'm sorry to tell you that, but what we do is we work with the lower athletes. The upper athletes can afford this. We try to make it as much as possible available for the kids. All of you, any of you that are baseball fans, we lost an American icon this week. Yogi Berra passed away. Those of you that are young probably don't know who Yogi was, but he was an American icon. And one of his famous quotes was that the game, talking about baseball, is 90% mental, and the other 50% is physical. Okay? For those of you who don't know your fractions, that's funny. Okay? But honestly, it sounds silly, but by the end of the night, when I reintroduce Shane, it's going to make sense. Actually, he was pretty much right on. Okay? And you'll see why when I get done here in a few minutes. If Yogi would have understood vision, I think he would have come up with the mental is 80% visual, and the other 50% is all the other stuff. Okay? And the reason is because, how do I do this, spacebar? Spacebar? Okay. The reason is because brain is vision. Vision is brain. The eyes are an extension of the brain. They're not an individual organ, they're actually an extension of the brain. And what marvels me is that they're the only movable part of the brain. Think about that. I always think about Terminator. When you think of, his eye was always calculating, doing all the, how far they were, who it was, all the identification. Guess what? That's pretty much the way our vision is. We don't even think about it that way, but it's honestly the truth. Your visual system, your eyes get the information in so that you can make those calculations and those processes. But it's all part of vision. Now, this picture here, 80% of all the information we gather, all the sensory information from our bodies, 80% of it is visual. That's how much of the brain is devoted to vision. Now, we used to think this was the model. This was the model in the old days, although until just recently it's still been being followed, that there was the optic nerve and it went to one area of the brain, at the back of the brain, the occipital lobe, right? Well, now all the recent research is showing that that's absolutely false. There's 130 pathways that they found so far. It goes to every single lobe of the cerebral cortex. It goes to almost every lobe of the brain. It's involved with virtually everything we do in life. Try to find something that we do that doesn't involve vision. Even when we're dreaming, you can tell when somebody's dreaming. How can you tell? Rapid eye movements. The eyes are moving, it's forming a picture. I can, if the lights were up, I could tell who in here is listening. How can I tell who's listening? By their eyes. You listen with your eyes. You hear with your ears. You listen with your eyes. That's why I always tell people, look at me when I'm talking. It's absolutely true. You have to get that visual information to help your auditory work. Okay? Posture, balance, hormones. Anybody know that your visual system is a big part of your hormonal system? Emotions. Okay? Our visual system is where we get light. Light regulates our endocrine glands for our hormonal control. Therefore, the lighting in today's day and age, fluorescent lighting, computer screens, we're throwing our hormonal systems all out of whack, especially for people that are sensitive. So it can actually affect your hormones. Okay? So the visual system is extremely powerful. Let me real quickly, everybody stand up for just a second. I'm going to show you how involved vision is with your balance. Everybody cross their arms. We've got to do this really quick. Cross your arms and stand on one foot. Doesn't matter which foot. Stand on a foot. Get your balance. Cross your arms. Okay? Feel how easy it is or how hard it is? Now, put the foot down. Close your eyes and do the same thing. Feel the difference. Feel the difference? What happened? Your visual system got turned off. Your visual system is directly connected to your vestibular system. Your vestibular system is where you get your balance. I can also demonstrate that your balance would also go down. We don't have time to go ahead and sit down. If all you did was this, just cover your peripheral vision, your balance would go down. So a tip for any of you that have balance problems, you know somebody that has balance problems, teach them to start using their peripheral vision. They will immediately get better balance. Head injuries, very common after that. Stroke victims, very common after that. They have very poor balance. Okay? You start to open up their vision because they become very central after a brain injury. Okay? So vision is huge in so many areas. This is just showing how it's not just ODs. It used to be just us against the world. It used to be developmental optometry against the world. Because nobody believed that vision was developed, that vision could be improved, that vision was anything other than sight. Well, now, everybody's jumping on board, but we're the ones that know everything. Okay? So the MDs, the neurologists, I'm getting referrals from neurologists now. Why? Because of concussions. Almost all the symptoms in concussions are visual. Duh! When 80% of all the information that goes into your brain is through your visual system, you're going to have a brain injury, you're going to have a visual problem. Something's going to happen. Okay? So this is just showing that there's way more than just optometry involved. This is the misconception that has hurt sports vision for 100 years. Sight versus vision. Sight is the ability to see clearly. Most people think they have good vision just because they see 20/20. They go to their eye doctor, they're told, oh, you see the bottom of the chart, or maybe even 2015. Great! Alright. So that means you can tell me what that thing on the right is. No. It means you see it clearly. And if you've seen it before, many of you have seen some of my presentations, you may have seen it before, and now, like Shane said, you have that recognition, that brain function that, oh, I've seen this before, and how quickly can you identify that will determine whether you can get that answer right or not. But until I give you vision, not sight, you're not seeing that. Okay? Now I don't have time to go through it because you all learn differently. It takes me about 15 minutes to get everybody in this room to see it. Because we all learn differently. So you don't get vision at the same rate. But we have to get you to a point where you get the vision, otherwise you ain't going to see it. You're not going to see it. It's a cow. It's the face and shoulder of a cow. It's a white-faced cow with a black nose, black ears, eyes. This is the face right here, front shoulder. Most of you probably now see it. Some of you don't. Okay, I don't have time to get to the point, but some of you see it now. How many see it? Okay, now those of you that don't see it, how do you feel? Like you're not real smart? No, it has nothing to do with how smart you are. I haven't given you vision yet. It's my job to get you to vision. So afterwards, I don't have time right now, afterwards come up, those of you that didn't see it, don't feel embarrassed. It has nothing to do with how smart you are. It has to do with how you learn. So those of you that don't see it yet, more than likely you need to touch it or have some sort of tactile information in order to see it. Once you see it, you'll have vision. Okay? You can't see the board, you need to come see it. Come closer.
You have to have sight before you have vision.
Okay. So what is vision really? Well, it's a bunch of neural visual skills that combine allow you to not only see clearly, so we have input skills, which Shane was mentioning is the visual part of the eye part. Get the information in first. You've got to see the ball first. You've got to see the words first. You've got to get the information in accurately first. So that's the tracking, the focusing, the eye teaming, the depth perception, all of those input skills. Then you have to process it and compare it to previous pictures. If you've seen the pitch before, you've seen this picture before, you can recognize it quicker. Right? So you have to have that recognition speed. That's the processing part. That's the brain part. The third part is, okay, once you see it, you've made that decision. Now you have to react. Eye-hand speed, eye-hand coordination, flexibility, strength. Like Shane was saying, the full loop. You've gone from seeing it, to recognizing it, to deciding, to doing. And it's got to be a split second, especially in high-speed small ball sports. Okay? All sports need these skills, but all sports are not the same as what skills are the most important. Golf skills are not the same as baseball skills. Okay? Visually, they're different. You have to train different. Hockey, you train in down gaze. Volleyball, you train in up gaze. Right? There's different gazes. There's different positions on the field. You have to train according to the needs of the athlete. Okay? So what causes neurovisual problems? Two things. Heredity and stress. Okay? Stress being number one. Now, we all have genetics. Some of us don't have very good blueprints, like Adam Perez over here. Unfortunately, he got his dad's eyes. Okay? Well, by the time I saw Adam, when he was in probably middle school, probably? Yeah. He was already bad. I mean, it was too late to prevent, so we just had to correct. So sometimes we can prevent, sometimes we just have to correct, but we try to reduce the stress on the eyes. Stress simply means, and this is any stress, I don't care what the stress is. Some of you are stressed tonight. I can tell you why. Your demand is higher than your skills. That's it. Okay? If your demand is higher than your skills, you've got stress. Right? So if I've got if I got to go run a 10K tomorrow, I've got stress. Because I'm not in shape for a 10K. Okay? So there's only two things you can do about stress. Only two. It's not easy, but it's simple. One, reduce the demand. I'm not running a 10K. I'm going to start with much less. I'm going to avoid. That's the first thing that happens under stress. If you're seeing avoidance, there's stress causing it. Something is causing you to not do well at that, whatever it is. So if you don't play sports, you probably either don't have the vision skills or the coordination, so you don't play. Or you go to the next level where the demand goes up, ball's coming faster, right? You got to be faster, you got to be more coordinated, and you don't have the skills. Well, you're going to quit. Okay? Or you're going to become inattentive. You're going to be there, but you're not really there. Same way in school. As your demands go up in school, you're not meeting the demands. You're in trouble. You've got stress. I'm not reading. I'm not going to school. Yes, you are. Well, then what happens? When you can't avoid it, you start having symptoms. What kind of symptoms? Well, it depends on where the stress. If it's visual stress, you're going to get blurry. You're going to get eye strain. You're going to get fatigue. You're going to get headaches. You're going to lose your place when you're reading. You're going to leave things out. You're going to skip over things. You're going to make silly mistakes. Your comprehension goes down. Anybody have any of those? Yeah. Absolutely. Well, it's probably because they didn't test your vision, they just tested your sight. I see perfectly clear. Yeah, but are you comfortable? Are you accurate? Are you able to get the information in? Okay? So you're going to have symptoms. If you have physical stress, you're going to have physical symptoms. If you have emotional stress, you're going to have emotional symptoms. Third thing that happens under stress, if you don't address the symptoms, if you don't address the stress, you're going to have change. You're going to maladapt. Our bodies will adapt. But usually, when you maladapt, it's going to cause a bad change, not a good change. A little bit of stress is good. You have to have some stress to have a good change. Too much stress, that actually cause damage. So, what happens in the change? You're either going to have a physical change, which in vision would mean nearsightedness. The farther you go in school, you see more people in glasses, correct? Why? Because the demands went up. They have to read longer, the print gets smaller, they have to focus longer, all of a sudden their vision starts to get worse. Duh. Okay? So as your demands go up, if you don't change the stress, the vision goes down. You're going to lose your distance vision, your posture will change. A lot of postural problems are caused by vision. If your two eyes are not working well together, you're going to posture yourself so that your eyes work better together. Whether it's chin up, chin down, turn your head, tilt your head, whatever. When you tilt the head, it changes your posture, does it not change? Anybody that does physical training knows your head weighs a fair amount, and it's going to cause your posture to change when you start tilting it, turning it, tilting it. And most of the tilts, turns, and changes are very common with vision. And if you don't find the vision problem, you're never getting rid of that head tilt, because vision will override everything you do as a chiropractor, everything you do as an OT. You're not going to override that visual system. That visual system is telling that head where to go. Okay? So those are the changes, and then the other change under stress is psychological. You're going to have emotional changes. And that's why we're also called behavioral optometrists, not just developmental optometrists, because if your vision is under stress, it's going to affect you in school. And if it affects you in school or in the workplace, it's going to cause stress. And the stress often leads to behavior change. Anybody have any kids with behavior change in school? Nobody? Ooh, this is a good class here. The bottom line is behavior changes. You see attitude change, you see mood changes. They get silly, class clown or class bully or whatever, right? You're going to see emotional changes. So how do you improve it? Two ways. There's two causes of stress. So you either reduce the demand or you improve the skills. One or the other. Okay? I could spend a whole hour just on the demand part, so I'm not going to do that. But the bottom line is if correction is needed, we often try to catch him. Like if I could have seen Adam when he was 5 years old, I probably could have kept him from getting as nearsighted as he is. I probably couldn't have stopped it completely, but I could have kept it to a minimum. Okay? We'd have done stress lenses, we'd have done some training early on, try to keep him from getting worse. But when the correction is there, you need to correct it. If you don't correct it, you're going to cause more stress, which can cause it to get worse. Environment, the two things I would tell you to remember is color and light. In today's day and age, fluorescent lights are the absolute worst. Turn them off, get your kids away from them, try to turn the lights down. The old adage, you need a lot of light, is absolutely not true for kids. If you're over 40 in here, you need more light. If you're over 50, you need even more light. If you're over 60 like me, this is killing me in the dark here, so I can't see. Right? Why? Because we develop cataract changes. So who sets the rules for lighting? 50-year-olds set the rules. So you need more light. No, you don't. Not when you're 10. The younger you are, the less light you need. Kids with attention problems, absolutely. And kids with learning disabilities are the most sensitive to light. Okay? So turn the lights down, not up. And get rid of fluorescent lights and use color. Our central vision is full of cones. Cones are not for white. Cones are for color. Go back to your science, look at the science. Cones are for color. So what should we read on? Color. That's why kids that have learning problems often you'll find them read if they get comic books. Why? For the color. Then there's fewer words on the page so they don't have to track so much. Okay, because the number one cause of learning problems visually is tracking. Second most common is light sensitivity. And kids with attention problems and ADD, both extremely sensitive. That's why they're ADD. Part of the reason is they're very sensitive. Second,
But does
nutrition.
color matter? Does color matter?
Yes, the best color is, guess what color?
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead. Sky. Blue. Blue is the best color. All the research coming out now is verifying. I've been using blue for years, and 30, 40 years now. Anything with blue. And the reason, blue, they're finding the blue cone. I'm getting off task here a little bit. The blue cone, they think, it makes sense, is the cone that turns off your peripheral vision. When you do central work, reading, writing, your peripheral vision is supposed to be turned down so you're not so overly distracted. Well, with ADD and dyslexia, they're finding they can't turn their peripheral vision off. Okay? And what they found is the blue cone appears to be the one that turns it on. And guess what color turns blue cones on? Blue. And what else? Low light. Low light, blue color, you're going to see your kids attend better. We saw it in the college athletes to the little guys. It doesn't matter. All of you, no matter what your age, you're going to do better with color. If you start using color tonight on your background in your computer, you'll immediately be more comfortable. All of you.
Those style folders were really too.
I'm sorry, what?
Those little folders that you gave us.
Oh yeah, filters. Anything, if you can change the color, use colored paper, use colored overlays, just use color. Nutrition, I'm taking too much time in nutrition, just eat as healthy as you can. Eat organic as much as you can. Stay away from the processed foods. Michael Phelps a few years ago, crazy diet he had. He's off the charts ADD. Doesn't matter. He's a great swimmer. But as far as his attention, it's off the charts bad. Okay? You don't want a diet like Michael Phelps had, chugging down the hamburgers and stuff. So eat as healthy as you can. Fat is very important in the diet. Do not do a fat-free diet. Your brain is very high content of fat. You need good fat. Okay? None of the trans fats. Try to stay good fat. Protein is absolutely essential. You want those fatty acids, those amino acids. Brain function does not function without amino acids and fatty acids. And you have to get that through your diet. Our body does not make it. So the second thing then that we do is we improve the skills. So you reduce the demand as much as you can, and then you improve the skills. There's only one way to improve skills. I don't care what the skill is, there's only one way to improve it, and that's training. And so that's what we do here. We do vision, we do brain, and we do body, all at the same time. And as far as I know, we're the only ones that do it. And anybody out there that says they're doing vision, they're probably got an instrument or two that they're using, but they don't know vision. I know vision. Okay, they're not developmental optometrists, they don't really understand vision. They're jumping on the bandwagon, which a lot of people are going to do because the results are tremendous. Okay? I gotta move on. Scientific proof, go to our website. These are a couple of studies. There's been 5,000 studies or more in the last 5 years on vision, brain, school, concussions, sports performance. All of them overwhelmingly support the fact that vision is improvable, and vision is brain, and when you improve vision, you improve brain function. Okay? This particular study, and we need to do the same thing with our San Jose State study. It was done with the University of Cincinnati baseball team. They had the same results we did with San Jose State. Just of note, Johnny Bench was a part of that, another American icon in baseball. Okay, he knows a little bit about baseball, I think. This just shows that this was a study done with one of the instruments that we use on the professional athletes. Professional athletes have tremendously good vision skills. They wouldn't be playing professional sports. They have to have good vision skills. Just like it says up there, they have incredible dynamic visual. That doesn't mean they can read very good. That means dynamic seeing stages. Eat it up. But look what happened when they trained. The 2 years before they trained with their vision is the red. The 2 years after they trained, the average, and these are all the statistics, I can't go through them, but they're all the different statistics that they keep in hockey, improved across the board. And these are professionals. So it doesn't matter what level you're at, no matter how good you think your vision is, if you haven't trained it, it's not as good as it could be. Okay? Prevention of concussions. Concussions is a huge thing. That's really been our best friend, concussions. It's a horrible thing, but the attention to it has brought to the fact that almost all the symptoms with concussions involve vision. And if they're not involving vision, they're involving vision where it's integrated, like the vestibular system. Okay? So it's important, even if you don't do training with your athletes, get them tested. Not their sight, because it rarely affects sight. It affects their tracking, it affects their focusing, it affects their accommodation, it affects their memory, it affects their balance, it affects everything but acuity. Now, it can affect acuity too, but it's only one area of the brain. So it depends on where the area of the brain is injured. You have to test for those things. And if you don't have baseline, you have no idea whether it's good or bad. So get them tested, get them in here, see Shane, get that baseline. Even if you don't do training, you've got that baseline. You have a head injury, you get that kid back in here, we can help make the diagnosis. We will not make the diagnosis, we will help verify the diagnosis. We'll also help verify when they're ready to go back to play. Because when those vision skills come back, you know that brain is starting to function the way it's supposed to. Okay? And there's been studies done. This one was done with the University of Cincinnati using a different instrument that we also use. It's not the instrument, by the way. It's what you do with the instrument. But the bottom line is, they did a 4-year study with the University of Cincinnati football team, and their concussion rate went down by 80%. And the only thing they changed was visual training and awareness. You have better awareness, you're going to avoid the contacts. You're going to still catch the ball, because we work on central peripheral. You're still going to catch the ball, but you're going to keep your periphery open so you can get out of the way in time and still make the catch. The problem is, many of them make the catch and then they get killed. Or they avoid the hit, but they don't make the catch. Right? So you want to be able to do both. And this is just one of many studies that are being done now on the prevention of concussions. This was a study done with the Hurricanes in North Carolina. A sports vision expert like myself that's in North Carolina. He's part of the A-team. They have a lot of concussions in hockey. A lot of concussions. So this was a study done with 137 concussed patients. And I'm not going to go into detail other than to say the study showed that the recovery rate went down by 50% with the athletes that were concussed that did vision therapy versus the ones that did not do vision therapy. The average for the non-vision therapy concussed patient was 12 weeks to recover. The average for the vision therapy concussed patients of the same caliber of concussion, 6 weeks. 50% less. 12 weeks of a season is your year, man. Your football season's over. Okay? 12 weeks of school. We're talking student athletes here. A lot of these concussions result in major problems with focus and memory and brain fog. You miss 12 weeks of school, you're in big trouble for that whole year. You may not repeat a year of school. Okay, so this is huge. Obviously it's huge for the professionals because of money, but we're not talking about that here. We're talking about can you perform and get back into school and not have it affect you. Okay? Vision and learning, I've already talked about that. The only thing I want to say here is that we work with student athletes. if you look at the skills, they're the exact same skills that I talked about earlier with sports. Exact same skills. It's just that we use them completely different. For school, think about it. School, you're sitting still, you're static. The book is not moving, it's static. In sports, you're moving, or the ball's moving, or both. So it's dynamic. Completely different part of the brain. In school, you're doing a lot of central vision and a little bit of periphery. And in sports, you're doing a lot of periphery and a little bit of central. You're central when you're hitting, you're central when the ball's coming towards you, you're a little more central. But the bottom line is the majority of the time you're out here. In school, you have to think all the time. You have to think while you're making your eye movements. You have to think while you're doing what you're doing. In sports, we tell you not to think. Another yogiism. You can't hit when you think. He's right. If you're thinking too much at the plate, if you're thinking too much over that golf ball, the chances are you're messing up. Because you start thinking, and all of a sudden, your visual system isn't working as well, your balance isn't as good, and all of a sudden you can't make the hit. Now, when you've worked with us, we work with you so that we make you think while you're doing your activity. And we want to get you to be as good at the activity even when you're thinking, because we always thought, well, we just have to get people to quit thinking. That's impossible. For an ADDer, you can't do it. I can't. Anybody else ADD that goes, man, I wish I could just get my brain to shut up. You can't. So what do? You train to where it doesn't have to shut up and you can still do it. Okay? So that's the big difference. Static, dynamic, thinking, non-thinking. You have to be able to use those vision skills. And this is the last slide, second to last slide for me. This was a study done on attention. And again, the results were phenomenal with just 12 sessions over a 4 to 6 week period. They saw a statistically significant improvement in attention and response control with these student athletes that had ADD. And even more important, they saw an improvement not only in the visual attention, they saw an improvement in the auditory attention. Duh! Remember what I said earlier? You listen with your eyes. So when you improve vision, guess what? Your hearing improves. Okay? So this is just, again, another one of the studies. I'm going to end with this one. This is Larry Fitzgerald. Those of you that had him, or wish you had him on your fantasy team last week. He has been one of the top receivers. He's 32 years old. Most people probably don't have him on his fantasy team anymore. He had 3 touchdowns last week. Now, I could say he's the spokesperson for vision in sports. He's not. He's the spokesperson for vision and learning. And the reason is because his grandpa was a developmental optometrist, and he was flunking out of school. His grandpa lived across the country, came over and worked with him, started doing vision training with him, got him going in school. He made it into college. He ended up getting drafted. He probably would have never, in fact, he admits he would have never played professional football if it hadn't, because he would have dropped out of school, probably got in trouble, ended up on the streets, like a lot of them do. Some of the best athletes end up out on the streets because they can't make it in school. So the most important thing is school, not sports. Okay? I'm going to give it back to Shane. He's going to show you how you guys can get started to get your brain working properly by using your vision. Thank you very much.